James Connolly. Work titled, Irish Socialist Republican Party, created in 1896. Transcribed by, the James Connolly Society, in 1997. Object: establishment of an Irish Socialist Republic, based upon the public ownership by the Irish people of the land, and instruments of production, distribution, and exchange. Agriculture, to be administered as a public function, under boards of management elected by the agricultural population and responsible to them, and to the nation at large. All other forms of labor necessary to the well-being of the community to be conducted on the same principles. Program: as a means of organizing the forces of the democracy in preparation for any struggle, which may precede the realization of our ideal, of paving the way for its realization, of restricting the tide of emigration, by providing employment at home, and finally of palliating the evils of our present social system, we work by political means to secure the following measures: 1. Nationalization of railways and canals. 2. Abolition of private banks and money-lending institutions and establishments of state banks, under popularly elected boards of directors, issuing loans at cost. 3. Establishment at public expense of rural depots for the most improved agricultural machinery, to be lent out to the agricultural population at a rent covering cost and management alone. 4. Graduated income tax on all incomes over 400 per annum in order to provide funds for pensions to the aged, infirm, and widows and orphans. 5. Legislative restriction of hours of labor to 48 per week and establishment of a minimum wage. 6. Free maintenance for all children. 7. Gradual extension of the principle of public ownership and supply to all the necessaries of life. 8. Public control and management of national schools by boards elected by popular ballot for that purpose alone. 9. Free education up to the highest university grades. 10. Universal suffrage. The Irish Socialist Republican Party. That the agricultural and industrial system of a free people, like their political system, ought to be an accurate reflex of the democratic principle by the people for the people, solely in the interests of the people. That the private ownership, by a class, of the land and instruments of production, distribution, and exchange, is opposed to this vital principle of justice, and is the fundamental basis of all oppression, national, political, and social. That the subjection of one nation to another, as of Ireland to the authority of the British Crown, is a barrier to the free political and economic development of the subjected nation, and can only serve the interests of the exploiting classes of both nations. That therefore, the national and economic freedom of the Irish people must be sought in the same direction, namely, the establishment of an Irish Socialist Republic, and the consequent conversion of the means of production, distribution, and exchange, into the common property of society, to be held and controlled by a democratic state in the interests of the entire community. That the conquest by the social democracy of political power in Parliament, and on all public bodies in Ireland, is the readiest and most effective means whereby the revolutionary forces may be organized and disciplined to attain that end.